heard just a few of those reactions, and if you just go to social media right now also, ladies and gentlemen, you will see this entire issue trending right now. A lot of you have been speaking about it. This is an issue that connects almost everyone, because no matter what justifies people in the government in a country like Maldives that is largely dependent on India, particularly for its economy, because tourism is a main thrust, to use such a derogatory and disparaging language against the Prime Minister. That is what everyone says. And you can, in fact, also send us your views and thoughts on the entire issue on republicworld.com. We'll be taking your views and perspective live also. For this moment, I want to say good evening to Robinder Sachdev ji, who's a global strategist. And he's joining us right now, also on this edition of the news, as a citizen. Robinder ji sir, good evening, and thank you for speaking to us on Republic, forgetting the fact that you are a global strategist, you know, speaking as a citizen of India. When you look at the picture, sir, that the Prime Minister had put out, I mean, what is it that these ministers took offense to when the Prime Minister did not even mention the word Maldives at all in his post?
Thank you so much, Deepti ji. Thank you for having me. No, absolutely, yes. You know, Prime Minister Modi is doing and was doing what a leader should be doing. You know, promoting your own country's assets, leveraging them. And the target for this was the domestic audience and maybe the international audience also. Why not? This is not a zero-sum game. As the Maldives ministers, by the way, my reading would be that I would say that these ministers absolutely, you know, their remarks are to be condemned, but maybe, you know, they're rookies, they're newbies. And what the Maldives government has done now by kind of, you know, asking them to resign, I think is a good and a mature step which a responsible government should do and take. Now, as far as Lakshadweep is concerned, absolutely, why will we not promote our own destinations and economies of that particular region, be it anywhere? I mean, in the northeast, Arunachal, Varanasi, you name anywhere. I mean, Udaipur, etc. Why would not India be promoting its own destination? And given the fact that the Prime Minister is a charismatic person and such smart visuals really do help. So that's absolutely the kosher thing for the leader to do. Now, what Maldives is doing, or one particular segment of the politicians in Maldives, I think they're still flush with their sense of victory and being newbies. They've been making such statements which are absolutely incorrect. And as you mentioned very rightly, for Maldives, India is not only a partner and we contribute to their economy via tourism. We are also a helper of the first resort for any kind of disasters or dangers they face. Remember the coup back in '88 when there was a coup in Maldives? India sent its forces to help out the government of at that time. Water shortages in Maldives, in Malé in 2014. It's surprising. It's an oxymoron. Island nations has some of the world's biggest problems of drinking water. There's water everywhere, but it's saline water. India sent our naval ships and air cargo planes with bottled water. During COVID also, we've aided them. We are building or contributing to their infrastructure of $500 million project of the greater Malé region. And if God forbid any disaster like a tsunami or whatever strikes, who is the nearest one to you? That is India, who can come to your aid. So this is immature, rookie statements,
yes,
absolutely to be condemned.
Yes, and Robinder ji, there are multiple reactions that have come in from people who matter, from a lot of citizens who are also voicing their concerns. Before I also get an Anil Trigunia ji, who's a former diplomat, I want to ask you a quick question, Robinder ji. The point is that today the Maldivian government is wanting to distance itself from the comments. It is saying that, this is not how the government thinks. This is definitely not how the government responds. But then, can you have sitting ministers talking like this, writing like this on social media, or they believe that they can act with impunity because, this is a deep-seated sentiment against New Delhi because you've seen a regime change, a regime that is more inclined towards Beijing and, Pakistan. So do you believe that perhaps is the genesis to the entire issue?
You're absolutely on the mark, Deepti ji. I mean, that is the genesis, as I said, in their flush sense of victory and coming to power now, they are, articulating their innermost, their innermost sentiments with regards to India. Couple of points I'll say. We mentioned tourism. They've set a target by the year 2028 to have 3.5 million tourists visiting Maldives. I think it's around 2 million right now. So whatever it be, this incident, I think, and we can check up maybe by the year 2028 if all of us are around, I think it'd be difficult for them to achieve that, because whatsoever it may be, some numbers of tourists from India will now start reducing. It won't be, like it won't drastically come down to half or something. But I do think that India's tourism numbers, which are at about 700 odd thousand, I think, every year on an average, they will grow, but they will not grow as much as Maldives would have wanted. So they're going to hurt their economy unwittingly by what they've done. Irrespective of, of course, our relations with Maldives will remain stable, balanced, and let's say mature leaders will talk and resolve, right? But this thing will leave a taste in the minds of, I think, the people of India, and we can definitely see, and you're also mentioning some, some visits being cancelled, but overall, the trend will now be not growing as much as it would have been minus this controversy.